Hello Aquarius, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. If Aquarius is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. And if there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards. Use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Aquarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with a Princess of Swords. Very interesting. Let's see what we are defending or what we're fighting for, right? Let's see what else is going on. We're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. Already some very interesting energy coming out. Yeah, this is very interesting. I think we are overcoming something that has been a challenge for us, I think more recently than anything. But let's look at our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. Let's select it, I should say. And we're going to use the Smith-Waite Tarot. And this is just one card we set aside. We'll put the frog right on top, and we're not going to look at that until the very end. And hopefully that card will tie everything together, give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. So let's look at these energies again. We've got, let's see, 4 major arcana. We have some fire, we have some air, we have a little bit of water, we have a little bit of earth. Okay, yeah, it seems to be pretty balanced. There's obviously a lot of major arcana here. Well, let's start with the Princess of Swords, because I feel like this is us we're either defending a position right now, or we're kind of in the middle of some kind of a conflict or disagreement, right? So we're kind of engaged in a battle, I guess. We could look at it that way. We're trying to defend ourselves. We're trying to assert ourselves. We're trying to get things back on track. And I don't know exactly what or who we're fighting just yet. I think we might be. Honestly, we got we got the Death card. We've got the Three of Swords. It could be a situation where we're really kind of trying to fight against ourselves, right? And our own, maybe just a lack of faith in ourselves, something like that, right? But I think it's through this battle, through this effort of trying to overcome whatever obstacle is in front of you right now. This might be a business thing, it might be a personal thing, but it feels very emotional, right? It feels that your future is really at stake here, and you're trying to overcome something that is kind of not holding you back, but it's like the final kind of gateway before we can let loose a lot of this energy. But the point being, it's through this battle, through this kind of defending things, I guess, defending ourselves, defending our position, that you're really discovering how strong you are. Here's the Seven of Wands. You are learning that you can withstand a lot, even if it feels like right now the universe may be against you. You're gonna win. It doesn't matter how powerful of a force or a feeling you're up against. Right? Maybe you're fighting to keep your job or to get a different job. Maybe you're trying to right some wrong. Yeah. Doesn't matter how big the opponent is. I think you're just a little bit more feisty, a little bit more cunning, right? We see both the Princess of Swords and the Princess of Wands. So I feel like it's really through your what's the right word? What am I looking for here? It's through a little bit of your spunk that you're going to overcome whatever this obstacle is. Okay. Let's start with the recent past, though, because we've got the Knight of Pentacles. I think that you were on a slow, steady path. Maybe at work, maybe at home, in your career, your spiritual attainments, whatever it is. I think things were going along quite nicely. You started to get a clear vision of what you wanted to go, where you wanted to go, what you wanted to do. I think you were pretty pleased on the progress that you were making. Things were just kind of trucking along, you know. But then I feel like this obstacle came along, and I don't know if this is a difficult person, or if this is something that maybe is hitting you a little bit deeper, whether it's being triggered by another person, or a particular event, or just something, you know, that's altogether not related to the situation. I think it's triggering something. This Three of Swords here is kind of telling me that it's not so much this exact situation that is kind of hitting you deeply, but it's what this situation, or maybe the people involved, what they kind of remind you of, right? What feelings and memories and emotions it brings up for you. Okay. And I think that's why why we're so deeply affected by this particular issue. Now, with these two, I do think that this is a representative both of the situation itself, being one that might ultimately not be all that significant. Right? It could be kind of a minor disagreement, but I think we're looking at it as a major test, a major challenge for our own work. Yeah. And I almost feel like we are maybe trying to handle things in a different way, or maybe this is the opportunity for us, you know, because of, I think we've got kind of this mellow energy over here. So it's almost as if you're kind of learning how to stand up for yourself. Does that make sense? I feel like deep within you, Three of Cups, deeply within you, there's this feeling of just love and joy, beauty, affection, compassion, right? I feel like you want to get along with everyone. But I feel like sometimes your kindness is mistaken for weakness. Yeah. I think really all you want to do is work on your life and make your progress. We see this death energy here in your general energy. So this kind of suggests to me that you're on a way more important path than anyone else, you know, realizes. That you are doing this really deep spiritual work of transformation, of growth, of evolution. And part of that evolution, I think, is learning how to stand up for yourself, learning how to defend yourself, right? Maybe even it's through some situation represented by this Seven of Wands. This situation itself, if it's a disagreement at work, if it's something at home, if it's just a little spat, if it's a little conflict, a brief exchange even, I feel like you're using it as an opportunity to really challenge yourself, to see what you're made of. Maybe it's letting you know that, hey, you need to work on your conflict resolution. You need to work on your, maybe your communication skills, you know. Maybe we even need to, with the Princess of Wands, maybe we need to work on literally how to defend ourselves. Maybe this has given you the idea that, hey, you want to go take some self-defense courses, some boxing classes, some martial arts stuff, right? Because I feel like, I don't think you're in any kind of physical danger, okay? I don't want to put that out there. But I think it's through this little disagreement at work or at home or at school that you realize that you want to refine this part of yourself. Yeah, could be what this Death card is about here. Maybe that's very familiar to you, this idea that your kindness can sometimes be mistaken for weakness. Now, you're not going to stop being kind. You're not going to get rid of this Three of Cups. This, this is, the Three of Cups is I think, a very essential part of your nature. And this is how you create love in the world, right? This is how you express your affection and your appreciation and your compassion and your unity with the world. You don't want to lose this. But at the same time, you don't want to get, maybe steamrolled. Maybe this Knight of Pentacles is, yes, it's you trying to make slow, steady progress. But maybe when we put that with the Seven of Wands, this is kind of an energy that tends to steamroll over your opinions, your decisions, your plans. Yeah. So this might be an issue of us really learning how to stand up for ourselves. And I'm not saying that you have to take some self-defense courses or learn how to fight or anything so you can go beat people up. That's not what we're talking about. But training in sports or martial arts or boxing or something like this is going to give you the confidence that might be, maybe, lacking sometimes. Okay? There's not a whole lot of fire energy in the reading here, but the fire energy that we do have is kind of taking this challenge here, because this is us feeling, whether it's true or not, this is us feeling like we are weaker than the opposition. We're going to keep trying our best, but it's that assumption automatically going into a situation that we are in a weakened position. Right? It's that wobbly kind of staff against those really strong and sturdy wands in the background. And we want to somehow improve that, right? So I think that we are starting out, Princess here, it's a page, it's learning how to be the fire. We're learning what we're made of, right? We're testing ourselves, we're putting ourselves to the limit. Maybe this is you going out and doing some kind of a marathon or a race or one of those obstacle courses or a boot camp kind of thing, or a Spartan race. Or if that's not really our speed, it's something else. It's, it is a self-defense class, right? Doesn't have to be physically demanding like a Spartan race. I've always wanted to do that, but no, I don't think I'm there yet. It's something to kind of challenge yourself, to see what your limits are, and to build up this confidence that you need. Yeah. Because I think what we're seeing is that we're in this Princess of Swords position where we're kind of knocked back on our heels. We're in a defensive position. We don't want to be off balance. When you're kind of off balance, it's easy to knock you over. We don't want to be the ones to fall. If anything, we might just have to help our opponent to fall down, if it comes to that, metaphorically speaking. And I like that this is a swords energy, because this is saying, look, you might be using the physical activity to build your confidence, to build some skill and a little bit of power in your body, right? But the real mechanism of resolving these issues and these little conflicts and things here and there, these little disagreements, is through communication, right? But now it's a communication that is kind of backed by this fire energy. So now it feels like it's a little bit more assertive. You're still coming from a place of love and compassion, but you're standing up for yourself. Right? And I think this is part of an overall transformation that we're going through. I think this might be a situation even of like trying to transform this part of our nature from being defensive and always being kind of back on our heels, off balance. See, the two cards here just look completely different. The Princess of Swords is on the back foot, off balance, not very stable, but trying to defend themselves, while the Princess of Wands is flying forward, right? Using momentum, it is in a much different posture than the Princess of Swords. So I think that's kind of what this Death card is about. It's no longer a kind of perceived weakness. You know, I don't like using the word weakness, but a lack of confidence in our strength to becoming very sure of ourselves. And this doesn't mean that we go out and get into dangerous situations and pick a fight with the biggest, baddest person in the room. That's not what we mean. But a confidence that, you know, when we're out in the world, we can assert ourselves, especially in the workplace, where it feels like it's getting a lot more competitive in the workplace. You know, I think because we're all struggling to make ends meet, to find steady work, that the competition is getting really fierce. Yeah. So we need to wake up a little bit of our own ferociousness. Yeah. And I see that you have a lot of plans, a lot of aspirations with this Magus, Mercury, Magician energy, because it's at the top of the path of the dove, and this is what you aspire to. And this, for one, is communication. This is the ability to manifest what you want in the world by just speaking it into existence. It's almost like you're hypnotizing people, you know, not literally. But you're able to communicate effectively that will give you the best chances of having the outcome you want, right? It's not manipulative. You're not taking advantage of people. You're not hypnotizing people. But you're able to effectively communicate. And that is kind of like a magic. That is like speaking a word into existence, and it becomes, you know, it's created. That has practical uses, right? Being able to speak effectively with your coworkers in order for there to be this harmony and love and compassion, and we can express our true nature. I think really it's important to keep both of these together. Now they're kind of at odds in the spread here, right? One's kind of, this is your kind of essential nature, or what's within you, and then this is what we're aspiring to be externally. Now this is, we could say that this is a kind of a salesperson here, right? Well, a salesperson is going to do whatever they have to make a sale. They're going to lie, cheat, and steal, which incidentally are all things that are ruled by Mercury, Hermes, the magician, Magus energy. And that's kind of conflicting with what's inside of you, this love and compassion and kindness, right? We want to create kindness and love. We don't want to manipulate and lie, cheat, and steal. It could very well be that you're in a sales position, you know. So how do we reconcile that? I think that's a big question for us, whether you're in sales or not. Some of you might be. But the idea here is for us to assert ourselves and basically get what we want, right? Out of any situation. Maximize the returns for everyone, but for ourselves included. Doesn't mean we're being selfish. While at the same time staying true to our own nature and creating love and kindness in the world. So how do we reconcile these two? That's something that we've got to think about. That's something I think that there's no real solution to. I think it has to be an ongoing effort. You know, it's something that it's here on the path of the dove for a reason, and we can just take a snapshot of this and say, this is what I've got to do moment to moment, is remember that both of these energies are active, and I have to do my best to stay aware of the Three of Cups when I'm out here doing the Mercury magician stuff. So, Path of the Serpent, Death card already here. I think this is a focus for you on really not changing your nature, not really even about transformation, but about growth, evolving, expanding, exploring, right? For me, the Death card it's about that moment, or the kind of ever-flowing moment between a death and a rebirth, right? Because there's no, oh, something's dead, okay, next in line is a rebirth. No, it's an ongoing, continuous process. If you look at the universe, if you look at nature, things are always dying and growing. It's an infinite dance, right? It's never just one thing and then, oh, there's another thing. We might see it that way. First you look at, a plant or something that is that's all dried up and it's turning to dust, And then we turn our head, and we look at a new shoot that's sprouting out of the ground. We think, well, there's death, now there's rebirth. But those processes are going on constantly all around us, within us, So it's not so much that we're looking to say bye-bye to our old self and say hello to our new self. It's that we're trying to continue to grow, continue to evolve and learn and improve, right? Death card's a path of growth. Yeah, we have to say goodbye to stuff. We have to allow some things to turn to dust, Things, ideas, attitudes, words we use, postures. We have to refine ourselves, which means, whenever you're creating a piece of art, you're not really putting stuff onto the canvas, and you're not really putting things onto a sculpture. You're taking things away. Taking away some of the blank space, some of the space that we don't need, and a picture emerges, whether you're painting or sculpting or doing the spiritual work, right? We're not adding stuff. We're taking away stuff we don't need to reveal that beautiful thing underneath. So that's the death card. And I kind of feel like this is the process that we're going through right now. With these kinds of energies and these questions and these little conflicts and the, everything we already talked about. We don't need to go through it again. You can rewind the video. And I think that it's a deeply personal, emotional thing for you. I think that the Three of Swords is here to remind us that, yes, there is this kind of, we are deeply affected by our environment. We're not an isolated unit that is untouched by the things that go on around us. I think these interactions you have with people, whether it's in your job or at home, if you're in sales, if you're not in sales, whatever you do, I think these conflicts and stuff are triggering something from your past, okay? Something that's deeply, deeply emotional, something that we may not have, we don't really think about consciously very often, but it could be you're in a disagreement with someone and it activates this kind of emotional memory from when you were a kid, something like that, And I feel like the more we are aware of that, the more we can identify that or acknowledge that, not identify with it, but recognize it and say what it is. The more that we'll come to understand how we are intimately related with our environment, with the energies coming from other people. They don't just flow around us, like we're all connected. And I think the more you understand this process in yourself, the more we'll find, balance and refinement and growth and all of this kind of success that you're looking for. So I think that this is something you're becoming more and more aware of, and you might be feeling very emotional, lately, right now, and into the future as you continue this work. Okay? Because the Three of Swords here is in your environment. This is the position of your environment. So part of this whole thing is understanding the role that your environment plays in how you feel. And why you feel the way you feel when you're in particular situations. Now, in the moment, it may not be something that we can just say, hey, okay, time out here, I got to feel some stuff. It might be something that we reflect upon later. Yeah. And also I think that this card is talking about how we don't want to be the source of pain and sorrow and heartbreak for other people in our environment. So that goes back to this Three of Cups that we have also. The idea that we want to create love, we don't want to create pain, right? So it's, and I think obviously because there's that connection to the past or childhood or something. So we're trying to balance this, I think really, because, you know, we got this Libra energy, we've got this justice or adjustment card here. The real challenge for us, this card is sometimes the position of what we don't want, but it's the challenge, it's the obstacle, it's the fear, the worry, the concern, and that's balance. That's justice. So how do we do ourselves justice? How do we do our environment justice? How do we balance, you know, our desire to generate love and well-being and kindness in the world with our desire to stand up for ourselves, to be assertive, to make the progress that we started with over here. Because this Knight of Pentacles still represents you making slow, steady progress, maybe in your career, in your life, in whatever situation, you know, we're in, whatever you do with your time, whatever your work is, right? I don't just mean a job or employment. That's whatever you spend your time doing. Even if you're retired, it doesn't matter. Whatever you're involved with, okay? We're trying to do something, yeah. So we're looking for a balance between our ambition and our heart, right? Between our Mercury energy and our Three of Cups, our water energy. So we're really aware of, or we're becoming very aware. We need to become very aware of the consequences of our actions. What energy are we putting into the environment, right? Are you putting the Three of Swords energy into your environment because that's what you're feeling from the environment? Or are we striving to put this Three of Cups into the environment? Maybe we can change that at some point. You know, when we can overcome some of these issues, this past, these things, we can maybe replace that with the three. And maybe even through this outward activity or communication, your work, if you're in sales kind of thing, whatever it is, you can learn how to express your love and kindness through this Mercury energy while still at the same time making this progress and having the ambition and standing up for yourself and being assertive, but it's all done with love. Right? It's all done with that love and kindness, but this is a delicate balance. I don't know how to do this. This is the big obstacle, I think, and that's why this card is here. Trying to have this balanced approach to what we're doing, how we're experiencing the world, how we're interacting with the world, what we're putting into the world. And this kind of balance, I think, when we can strive for this, now I don't think we'll ever achieve this. I don't think it'll ever be perfect. But again, like I said earlier, it's in each moment we realize that we've got both of these energies and we need to utilize the best qualities of both of these. This is kind of the spiritual aspirations. And then in a practical sense, we need to stand up for ourselves. We need to learn new ways of communicating and asserting ourselves so that we can make progress and overcome challenges, ultimately to get to this devil energy, which is the full unbridled expression of your creativity. This is you manifesting your will. So whatever your goals are, this is how you make progress. The goat, the devil, this card here is all about climbing the mountain. Yeah. It's all about making progress up that mountain, whatever your mountain is, whatever you're trying to do. This is how we should go about doing it. And that'll give you the best chances of just climbing straight up to the top, not getting sidetracked, not slipping down, not changing your mind, not letting anybody else change your mind, not sitting down and quitting, right? Just on the hill somewhere. So this card really is about the progress that you're going to be making. This is pretty good stuff. This is a strong energy to end the reading with. Because I feel like all of this here, it's all of these different components are kind of pushing you up this hill to those attainments. And I don't know what this is or what you're trying to do, but that could be anything. Whatever it is that you are trying to do, I think you're going to be very successful. But we have to, we have to harness some of this other energy. But now, let's ask the frog. What is going on with our frog friend? We've got a lot of these court cards. We have the majors. I would like to see something a little bit more structured and refined. I'd like to see, honestly, like a 10 of Pentacles, a 10 of Cups. But any kind of a 6, I think, would be really appropriate. A 6 of Cups would be great to kind of match our 3 of Cups. Well, let's see what we've got. We've got an 8 of Cups. So at least that's some structure, right? At least that is a little bit of form. And I think the 8 of Cups is us knowing what we need to walk away from, right? I think it goes back to this Death card and the 3 of Swords, knowing what to leave behind. See, the figure here is walking away from those cups. It's crossed the river. It's taking off. This is us, I think, understanding what the 3 of Swords represents in us, right? And processing it in such a way that we can then let go of it so that we can continue making that progress. So the 8 of Cups to me is suggesting a lot of, letting go of the emotional stuff, the emotional residue, the issues that are still, that we typically carry with us, identifying them, processing them, and allowing them to stay there while we continue to make progress, right? Just like that card. Knowing it doesn't serve us to carry all these cups around. It's too much weight, So I think that this is the big task. I think dealing with the emotional situation and how the environment, how our interactions, these little conflicts and little squabbles, how those bring up larger issues in us. Okay? I think this is a major part of the work. Anyway, we're going to do an extended. And if you'd like to stick around, just click up here. That'll give you access to all of the extended readings, not just for Aquarius, but for every sign. I want to thank you for being here, and thank you for letting me read for you.